Alright guys, how you doing? It's Rabea, I hope you're all well. So this video is brought to you in association with the guys at Stone Deaf Effects. Hopefully you've heard of Stone Deaf. They've been around for quite a few years. They're a great brand. I did some work with them probably 3 or 4 years ago now, trying out some of their amplifiers and things like that, and I know we've seen them on the Anderton's TV channel and stuff. They're a British brand. They make pedals primarily, but they also dabbled in amps as well. And as far as I'm aware, lots of great guitar players and famous bands use their gear, and it is well renowned as being awesome. So in this video, we're going to be checking out a very cool pedal for a special occasion, which is because this is the 10th anniversary of their first offering, which was the PDF, which was a parametric sort of distortion kind of thing. It had like a frequency sweep, a bandwidth, which was essentially like a wide to slim Q factor, on top of the fact that you had gain as well. You had a clean and a dirty mode, so not only did you get a boost, but then you had sort of bit distortion there if you needed it, and control over the frequencies you were boosting, cutting with the Q factor as well. So pretty versatile pedal really. Apparently Josh Homme used the PDF as well, and that's a huge plus for me because I'm a huge Queens of the Stone Age fan. So in this video we're looking at the PDF-1X, which marks the 10-year anniversary of the original PDF-1. So what Stone Deaf have done here is they've sort of combined the best bits of both the PDF-1 and 2 into this brand new limited edition. Well, I say limited edition. The first 200 are going to be available on Reverb only, and then I imagine you'll be able to get them further afield. But yeah, it's got its own unique artwork, and there's a couple of changes to the circuit and the functionality of the pedal, which we'll go over now. So as you can see on the close-up cam, it's still a similar layout, but things have changed up a little bit here. So firstly, we've now got a volume knob, which used to be a gain knob, and that's in the middle there. What they've actually done is put the gain as an internal trim pot on the inside, which is kind of a set it and forget type thing. So you know, you'll set the amount of gain you want, which obviously applies to both the clean and the dirty. But once you've kind of set it, be happy with it, put the pedal back together and forget about it kind of thing. The cool thing is that if you're running into a crunchy or driven amplifier anyway, the volume will also work to give you more gain because you're hitting the front end of that amplifier. So anyway, the layout goes height, which is essentially your boost or cut. So that gives you 20 dB boost or cut, which is huge really. Then as I said, in the middle you've got volume, which is a 15 dB cut or boost. And then you've got the frequency knob on the right hand side, which goes from 35 Hertz to 6 kilohertz. So that's a huge frequency range for you to be able to pinpoint, boost and cut that frequency if you want. And then we get to the middle knob, which is a 5-position bandwidth knob. And this is really cool because what it actually does is change the Q factor, which in sort of EQ terms is how wide or thin the overall curve and boost is going to be. If it's a really small Q factor or thin Q factor, when you boost that frequency, it's going to be very obvious that it's a very thin, quite plinky kind of sound, which you can get cool notched filter sounds, wah kind of sounds, all that stuff. Whereas if you have a wide Q factor, it'll actually boost and cut the frequencies either side of it, so it's a little bit more rounded. Basically, it's really handy to have that kind of feature on a pedal, and it will allow you to do lots of unique tones as well. Then the foot switches, you've got on and off, and then you've got your clean and your dirty mode, which is cool because either way you can still treat it as a boost or then add a bit of dirt to that. So yeah, really useful. On top of that, there's an expression pedal in on the back, provided you use the Stone Deaf EP1, which is their expression pedal. Then it allows you to override the frequency knob on this pedal, giving you like a wah-wah essentially. You can make the Q factor quite thin and then control a huge frequency sweep, basically sounding like a wah-wah, or to be able to quickly pinpoint frequencies with your foot and then adjust, boost, do what you need to do. So an extra element of flexibility for this pedal. Without further ado, let's crack on. The amplifier is the Rev D20 because it's a great pedal platform. I'm going to be using my Fender Strat, my Gibson Les Paul. Any reverb and delay you hear is coming from the Universal Audio Apollo X8P interface. Let's check it out. Front of the D20 with a bit of crunch. This is how it sounds. When I say bit of crunch, I mean I've pulled the gain pot out, so there's a bit of hair on the tone. And here it comes. So everything's at 12. This is how it sounds. It's just adding a little bit more. Sounds great. So, as I said, height acts as the boost and the cut for the frequency. Volume is going to obviously act as a boost, which we've basically got, 35 dB thereabouts in total of boosting. So anyway, I'm gonna boost the volume first, just to give us a bit more drive. Sounds lovely. Let's boost the height. Q factor is in the middle, so it's middle setting. Frequency, I'm going to say, is near the mid. I'll tell you what, an easy way of doing this is to boost the height, and let's hear on a thin Q factor what that frequency bandwidth sweep is doing. So push the bandwidth knob all the way over to the left. Let's see if we can pinpoint a nice area to boost and create a fatter sound. Now it's over to the right, it's giving us a nice wide Q factor, so it should be boosting the frequencies around the specific setting we've got. Liking so far is the control of the frequency and how obvious it is what you're changing. I like that, so I can really hear what I'm doing and I'm pinpointing the sound that I specifically want. It's a nice tweaker pedal so far. And if I drop the frequency, we can get into those kind of more stonery, less articulate but really fuzzy warm sounds by just dropping the frequency. Clean it up a little bit because you've put the frequency knob so low, you can actually just drop the bandwidth knob back down, so it's actually boosting less of the frequencies either side of where you're at. If you find that it's a bit too muddy, rather than dropping the height, you can just lower the Q factor. It's actually tightened it up. I can hear more bass, but it's tightened it right up. Okay, well so far I'm really digging it. I'm able to find tones specifically that I'm after, and the overall sound of the pedal sounds good, especially in front of the D20. So let's just change from clean to dirty and see what kind of gain we're going to get. Okay, so I found a cool setting so far. I wanted to try and find a setting that kind of added a bit of a sparkle to the sound of the guitar and clean things up a little bit in the low mid. So I actually pulled all the height out. I've used the volume to boost the overall signal, giving me a little bit of push from the front. and then I've taken the frequency quite low with a wide Q, so the bandwidth knob all the way up. And that's essentially just cleaning things up, adding a touch more gain, making things quite nice and sparkly. So this is without. And then this is with. I should mention it's on the clean, not the dirty. It's a really nice sound. The difference being just that it's got a touch more of that sparkly, crispy crunch. And then without. Back in. So now if we just push on to dirty mode, see what it sounds like. I'm noodling because it sounds good and it feels really nice to play. So even on the dirty mode, when I'm dialing in and I'm pulling out so much of one frequency, you really can get all kinds of tones with this. And so far, you know, I've only demonstrated more of the cleaner stuff, but when you go into the really heavy stuff, you can find some awesome sounds, which is what I want to do. I'm going to use the old Leslie. But before we do that, I just want to see what the extremes are using a Strat, what kind of dirty tones we can get as well. So let's try that next. So you can hear that's quite boosted. It's really nice and rounded. Bearing in mind our original tone was this, which is a good sound obviously, but when you boost it and pinpoint certain frequencies, sounds really good. So I want to now drive it a bit more. Let's do that using the Les Paul and see if we can go into that kind of stonery territory and see what kind of filthy, fuzzy kind of tones we can get. Let's try it out. Okay, I've got the Les Paul and I've turned it on. Everything's at 12, and I noticed it was quite muddy. Doesn't sound bad, but I just want to clean that up. So what I'm going to do is use the height knob to clean it up by pulling out that cloudy frequency, which is it's that lowish mid. Okay, so I pulled all the height out, I dipped the frequency a bit and I boosted the level, widened the Q factor, but I was able to go from that more cloudy sort of mid-heavy sound to a bit cleaner, a bit clearer. Let's try it with the dirty mode. So obviously on the dirty mode it does muddy things up a tiny bit. I mean, you can roll off your volume if you want to do that, but just as a tool to clean up the sound I had originally, it worked a treat. So I immediately found the vibe I thought I could get from this pedal, which with the settings that I've got, it's the Queen's vibe. It's got that breaking of the speaker kind of overloaded fuzzy thing, but yeah, it's really fun to play. Super thick and powerful sounding, great for that rhythm, kind of that Queen's vibe. I don't know what genre, if you know the genre that you could say Queens are, honestly, what kind of stuff they do, then please comment below, because I always struggle. It's not stoner, I don't really know, but it's got that fuzzy kind of filthy undefined vibe to it, which really does sound great with this. And that was with the dirty mode. This is the clean. So you could go between like a more articulate one. Obviously this would be on the ground, so you and then you stomp on that, give yourself more dirty. So you do an intro and then kick in with it, and then go back, have something a bit thinner. Oh, it's great. So I'm finding myself just noodling, just coming up with cool riffs and sounds. I feel already like this pedal is going to be useful for my sort of writing and riff writing and stuff like that. I feel like I want to audition this on the pedal board for Tosca, because I think it's useful how you can dial in, add and subtract those frequencies, and you've got control of a clean and a dirty boost and the expression pedal out, which we're going to get onto in a moment. So far, it's just a great pedal. Do you know what I mean? Like it's really good sound. It works really well in front of this amplifier, and I'm assuming it's just going to work well in front of most. And just, yeah, it's a tool as much as it is just a pedal you can put in front of and play, and it sounds great. Do you know what I mean? So it's as in depth or as not as you want it to be. That's how I feel about it. And to be honest, I'm not missing the fact that there's no gain knob on this. It's inside, because yeah, I can boost the gain as much as I want inside, but having the level to control, adding me more gain in front of a compressed signal, and then having the height as a 20 dB boost of that frequency, it adds more signal. So it's driving the front of the amp more, it's giving me more gain. It's a really easy pedal to dial in a good sound. There you go. There's a look at the Stone Deaf 10th anniversary PDF-1X pedal. I'm really thankful that Stone Deaf got in touch for me to check out this pedal, because I've known them quite a long time. I've not actually worked with them a lot, but it was nice of them to get in touch about this very special run of pedals. As I said, the first 200 will be available through Reverb, and then I'm expecting them to be out in retailers, as you might expect. I really like this pedal. I'm really fond of it. It's grown on me from the start of this video to this point, such to the point that I'm taking it with me to rehearsal to see if it can, blend in with the Tosca vibes, because I can go from that, pushed fuzzy sound almost to like a really clean boost almost. It just gives me a little bit more hair on the top. It's more articulate. And everything in between, and it works as a drive or a boost or whatever. So it's a really useful tool, and I think that's what I'm enjoying most about it. And then again, it looks badass. So anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you to Stone Deaf for sending the pedal over. I'd love to know what you think in the comment section below. If you're fans of Stone Deaf or you've not heard of them, please do check them out. I'll put links in the description box. Like, subscribe and share, and I will see you all very soon.